Hello beautiful people and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're returning, it's great to see you again. In this video, you'll get my channeled message, a page from the Angel Guidance book, and also a card from the Healing Love deck. Unless one jumps out, then there may be more than one. So let's get into the message. Today's message is very dear to my heart. It's something that I really hope that you get it today and just plant some seeds. I'm hoping to offer you a totally different perspective. None of what I'm going to share is about judgment or criticism or opinions. It is purely offering a different perspective. And you'll see why I'm a little bit hesitant with this again. It's when I get to really speak my truth, there's this sense of trepidation. And then once I get into it, it's like, yep, just let it all out, Kat. So I love that I get to share that with you and show my vulnerability with you. It's really important. I'm not fearful to do that in any way, shape or form, as you can see through my videos. I make mistakes and I leave them in there, and are they mistakes? No, it's just me being natural, right? It's just about keeping that flow. I want you to see the organic me, not this polished version. And as people would say, perfect. There's no such thing. So my videos are far from it, and I'm happy to keep it that way. So, heal emotional pain and trauma. What have you endured either in childhood or adult life that still sits boxed in the pit of your gut? Now, I'm talking here about, or I'm speaking about, I should say, I don't like that word talk, speaking about all the things that you suppress, yeah? Some people like to say they suppress them, and it's predominantly men because they box things, and it's not a criticism, guys. It's just the way you are, and absolutely I respect that. So I really wanted to tie in an analogy with that. So how long do you plan to store your suppressed pain or trauma in there, in the box? Have you thought about that? Do you feel it can stay in there in storage your whole life without you not having to pay fees? Or worse, what happens if you run out of storage? Have you thought about that? Because you've suppressed and you keep boxing things and you've run out of room. Do you believe that you have an unlimited space in here to store all the suppressed stuff? I don't think so. And nothing is for free, remember that. So how's your body paying for the boxes of stuff that you're suppressing, the trauma and the pain? What happens when your boxes are full and they begin to overflow? Where does that overflow go into? Have you thought about that? What happens if you run out of room in the storage shed? Then where do you start suppressing any pain, trauma, things we can't forgive, grief, guilt, resentment? You understand, they all come under pain and trauma, right? They're all things that sit down here. And you know, when you have an argument and that stuff comes up, it's been stored. It's in one of the boxes. And then when you get angry, you open that box and you take it out and you go, and you bring that up. So I really want to be clear that the trauma and the pain, I'm speaking also about all those emotions that you hold against someone else or against what's happened to you or the things that you've done, guilt, resentment. All of those are all boxed. Yeah? That all comes under the category. What actually happens to the things you suppress? What do you feel happens? Have you thought about that? Have you gave it some time of reflection? I ask people and they look at me like, what, Kat? And I go, these are things that we need to take into consideration. We speak about suppression, and I'm going, yeah, so where do you suppress it? Where does it go? And for how long can you suppress it for? What does it do if it comes up? Are these all the questions that you've asked yourself? Or you've just gone, I've just suppressed stuff and that's it, and you've left it at that? I'm all about delving deep. Remember, vertical, vertical, vertical. And this is, I really want to share with you today. And it comes off the back of a client, and I just went, yeah, it's just, people don't have that awareness, and it's not the knowing. So it's not attacking, it's that maybe you've just never looked at it from this perspective that I'm offering. How do the things you suppress impact your emotional health, balance, and well-being daily? What things are happening in your daily life that are triggering something that you've got in that box? Something that you've suppressed. It's going to hit it and open the box and bring that up. Have you taken that into consideration? When things are suppressed, that means you have triggers attached to those things you've suppressed at a conscious level, at a surface level. How is that impacting your daily overall well-being? Have you even taken it into consideration? This is not judgment. This is that I'm damn well aware that not many people are speaking about what I'm speaking about and offering it from this perspective. You know, I will keep going. As you can, I did do a warning. I knew that I was going to, I absolutely, not knew, felt that I was going to go on this bit of a rant. And please excuse, I am coming from a place of love. This does. But as you can see, when I go on a bit of a rant, it's not that I'm getting angry. I'm getting so passionate. And I just so desperately want for each and every one of you to really hear this perspective and hope that it just goes, you have that light bulb moment, that aha moment. Yeah, that's why the louder I get, I'm going, yeah, please, please. You know, how does it impact your overall well-being? Are you suffering headaches, migraine, got heart problems, got gut concerns? I am not giving medical advice, but what I'm saying is, have you really looked at what you're suppressing? Is that impacting or overflowing? Because I'm going to say this. The trauma and the pain, the resentment, all that guilt, grief that you carry over time will cause toxicity in your body and mind, for that matter. Because it is, you know, trauma is negative, right? It's toxic. Now, over time, over years, that's festering. And so if your boxes are full and it's leaking out, what is it doing to your body? So if you've got an illness or you're not feeling well and you have done every possible test and they cannot find anything, you know, tangibly wrong, medically wrong with you, then what is it? You're not going crazy. You're not imagining it. Just maybe one of your suppressed boxes is leaking because it's too full. Only offering a perspective. Not saying it is. But maybe it's time to really, you know, heal and release. Release means throw it out. Unpack the box. Is healed from it. You unpack it. You work through it. You unpack it. You bring it to the surface. You heal. And then you throw it away. Thank you. Box empty. Does that make sense? The unhealed pain and trauma a person endures and suppresses during their lifetime at one point will present itself on the surface. It will present itself absolutely at the surface. And that's in the form of your triggers. And it could be presenting several times, but you're not healing it. You're pushing it back down. You're packing it again, right? Causing negative thoughts and emotions to overflow and impact your overall well-being. For those of you, your mental state of mind, your emotional state of being. It's time to heal and release all suppressed pain and trauma, no matter how scary it is or confronting, because that sitting in there is not good for your body. By working with the heart and the gut rather than just the head. It's how you felt in the suppressed situations, not how you think you felt in those situations. Now, I'm going to go there. I had a client today, and we spoke about, I said, have you seen therapist? Have you seen? And he said, yes. And I said, okay. So where do they work? And he said, oh, it's all in the head. You know, it's we've got disorders and I've got this and I've got that. And I said, yeah. Where do your emotions sit though? And he went, gut. I said, well, did you work there? He said to me, no. I said, so how are you going to heal? So my question to you, and this is just simply food for thought. We speak so much about mental disorders, depression, everything, and they speak about all it's in the head, right? We've got chemical imbalance, everything. I am not questioning, I am purely offering a different perspective, and one, I hope that it's a plant to see a food for thought. Yeah, I'm planting seeds here. If that's the case, and we're working through here because you've got a mental disorder, chemical imbalance, whatever it is, yet in the, what is it? FS5, the diagnostic for psychiatry, if in that it states that a lot of these disorders or depression stems from traumatic events in life or grief, different situations and events can trigger, yeah? Then what I don't understand is why are we not then looking at, or why is it not looked at what's gone and how those events, those traumatic events, have emotionally impacted you? Why are that we only, predominantly focusing on here? I'm not saying all, some, right? I don't want to generalize here. And that is why I chose not to work. Yes, I work with the head, but predominantly I work with the gut, with the emotions, with the feelings, the heart. How did that make you feel? How did go back to that moment? Were you scared? Were you frightened? And we need to then shift the perspective of that, bring that trauma up and look at it and choose. Because you know what? While you still struggle, that event, you're still living that event every day. It still controls you. It still impacts you. It still hurts you. It still scares you. Why for your whole life do you want to have an event or a person impact you? That's why it's so important to go inward. And my client just looked at me. And he said, I hadn't thought about it like that. I hadn't looked at it like that. And I said, I'm fully aware that more than likely you haven't. And maybe some of you haven't looked at it like that. You've gone to therapists, counselors. This is not judgment of them. But you're still finding you're not being the best version of you. Why? What's missing? And some of you may feel absolutely that you've got disorder. I respect that. I am not questioning that. But some of you may be going, something doesn't feel right. I don't feel that's the case. I feel there's something missing, and maybe this is your missing link. That you haven't healed from the emotional trauma of those events that you endured. That emotional trauma is still triggering you. It still has a hold over you. So that needs to be visited. That needs to be healed. I'm very passionate about working with people and getting them to live their best life, to release all that hell. I call it hell. To release it, to heal from it and go, you know, I'm going to live my best life. I am no longer allowing that to impact me anymore. It has been strangling me all my life. And that includes the guilt you hold towards self, the resentment you hold towards self, the blame you hold towards self, and any other thing you're holding on self. It needs to be healed and released and forgiven. You forgive others, but you won't forgive self. Why? Take a breath, cat. I really do hope that this makes sense, that message, and that I've articulated it. I know there's a couple of others that I worry that I'm not being clear, because I'm so eager for you to get the message, and I hope that it impacts you in some way, shape or form. So let's keep moving along to the page. What page have we got? Let it come to you. Wow. Okay, before I even get in this, what I'm getting is there are some of you that it actually has been coming up to the surface, but for some reason it feels so overwhelming you're not ready to deal with it. I'm going to say word deal with it. And maybe that's because you're looking at it from the wrong perspective. Maybe you feel that you've got to relive the whole experience, the whole event, the whole whatever situation it was. I'm going to say to you, you don't necessarily have to do that. And more than likely, well, I definitely don't. It's more about, I go, okay, so this happened. How did you feel? Let's tap into that emotion. That's all I want to know. You don't need to relive the events and speak them. All I want to know is whatever that event was, how did you feel in that event? Were you scared? Were you fearful, intimidated? Let's tap into that emotion. Because if there's another situation that makes you feel like that again, it triggers you. So we need to identify the emotion, because then we can work and heal on that. So this is why allow it to come to you. Your suppressed stuff has visited you on several occasions. However, some of you go, yeah, and you push it back down. But as I mentioned earlier, remember, you are the storage space. You don't have that much storage space in the gut before it overflows. And you don't want that toxicity and that suppressed trauma to flow through to your body. Because what is it going to do? And yes, this is so not coming from a clinical perspective. It is not clinical. There is no proven evidence. So, however, I'm going to say to you, there's not a lot of proven evidence for the clinical theories either. They're thoughts. If you read the FSM, I think it is 5, read the words. They're theories. They're not facts. So mine's a theory as well. Just offering from a different perspective, more of a holistic. So let's get into the message. Before I read this message, if you want to close your eyes and take a deep breath with me. Instead of struggling to attain your desires, relax and let everything come to you. You don't have to strain what you're looking for. Simply hold a clear vision and it's already yours. Keep faith that it will come to you easily and effortlessly, and follow any guidance you receive. Today, let go of old approaches to fulfilling your needs. Be like the smart angler who uses the proper bait, in this case, your crystal clear thoughts. Cast a line into the lake corresponding to the act of giving your desires to spirit and patiently wait to be rewarded. Determine what it is you want and realize that as long as you're searching for that, you're sending a signal out that you don't have it. So thank the universe and feel grateful for the fact that you've already received your wish. The process will yield the manifestation of your desire, often in a way that exceeds your expectation. Write a detailed description of what you want today and sign it with a thank you. Fill your heart with feelings of gratitude and enjoy the quick response that you receive from the universe. Thought for today. I let things come to me. I cast my desires before me, allowing them to return to me in material form. I feel gratitude before and after my wishes come true. So what this is saying is I really feel that when you really do heal, okay, I'm going to stop. Go back. Some of you that are watching this have some great big dreams and desires, and you've been working towards them and you feel you're just not getting there, or you feel you take 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. Why? Because just maybe there is things that you need to heal. And as it says in here, if you're busy focusing on all the yuck, the negative, the rubbish, the crap, the trauma, the pain, how do you allow the goodness to come in? How often do you show gratitude? How often do you reflect at how far you've come? Or are you so consumed in your trauma and pain? Do you only see moments of joy? Do you only have moments of happiness? And the rest is pretty average. And yet you've got some massive dream and goals. They're there waiting, absolutely. However, how can you receive goodness when all you see, I'm going to change that. How can you see light when all you see is dark? And this is not judgment. And I feel if you are only seeing dark, that actually makes me sad. Because there is so much to live for. And that means that this is consuming you, your pain and trauma. And what it is, it's a true indication that all your boxes are full and your storage space, no more room. No more room. So it's coming closer and closer to the surface where it just will consume you. It's time to unpack those boxes and throw out what you don't need in order to make way for what you want, not what you don't want. So let's go to the cards. Fear. Hello. Some of you watching this, just the thought of actually looking and revisiting your suppressed stuff is causing you a lot of fear. It's like, oh, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. No. But I want to ask you, while you hold on to that and you hold on to your suppressed things, how does that get you to move forward towards your goals? How does it get you forward to healing? How does it get you moving forward to finding happiness? So many people say they just want happiness. That's what I get. Okay, well, how are you going to get that? If you're covered, everywhere you look is dark. And fear is holding you. Fear is a killer. If we're fear to do this, fear to do this. Fear will hold you back in any way, shape or form. I know, you know how I know this? Because I know it's held me back for years. Absolutely fully aware that it did. I didn't know how to move past it. Of course I do now. Heal and release. And It's just come to my attention that this talked about fishing with a fishing rod. Absolutely. You know, catch and release. So catch is suppressed and then release it. Get rid of it. Because do you really want to have fear keep holding you? Fear, there is a, it's not real. It's your thoughts telling you fibs. It's your thoughts telling you lies. It wants to keep you where you are. So you have to overcome those fears. And it's absolutely not easy. Baby steps. And if you're not sure, my email details are below. Reach out. Reach out, because reaching out to me is your first baby step. And I congratulate you if you do that. If you're struggling, email me. That's the first step. That takes a lot of courage. A lot of courage. So let's go to the page fear. Fear is preventing you from living and experiencing your true potential. Perhaps you have tried to suppress your fear. Oh, there's the word. Suppress your fear. But this has simply locked it away inside you and has cast a kind of invisible shadow over your life. Remember, I spoke about dark. Fear is not necessarily a bad thing. A bit of it is good for us. Absolutely. But when our fears blow out of proportion, become irrational and start to control our lives, then it is time to face and heal them. Rather than suppressing your fears, let them surface. Face them one at a time. Give them your undivided attention. Acknowledge and love them. Observe and talk to them. Embrace them. With practice, love, and patience. Wow, patience. That was yesterday's message. Each fear will dissolve and transform to light. The healing power of love will then fill your heart, mind, and thoughts, and you shall come to know and trust that you are always safe. For you are immortal, eternal child of the universe, an immortal, eternal soul of love. Wow. That So what have we got for the next card? Transmutation. I see it almost like you come out of the fire, out of what's been holding you down, and you just rise. You rise to see the light. It's time for you to transmute. Transmute yourself. Stop being who you were and become who you're meant to be. Don't allow the trauma, the pain, the guilt, the resentment, the grief hold you back. You can heal from that. You can release it. Transmutation. I don't know if I've even pulled this card on Cat's Messages. Okay, let's find the page. Transmutation. Got it. You are currently undergoing a time of deep spiritual change. Creative and healing energies around you, old habits and thought patterns are being transformed by a process taking place on a deep inner level. You will soon experience a renewed sense of well-being and creativity that will have a lasting and positive impact on your life. Listen to beautiful music and meditate, for this will help you. Imagine yourself bathed in golden light. Now imagine that within the golden light burns a beautiful violet flame. Imagine this color transforming the thought patterns that no longer serve you. Interesting. Bless the past along with the changes now taking place. If that does not cement the original message of it's time to heal your trauma and pain, and if it also doesn't affirm that you need to go inward and not just work all in here, absolutely, it's a time of shift. That's why this message came up. Some of you are ready. You're ready for that shift. You're ready for that healing. This is just affirmed. And I'm getting it's for those of you that have got some really big dreams and goals, and it's like, I'm done with this. What do I need to do to move forward? Now I hope that I've offered you the perspective that maybe you hadn't looked at before to assist you to move forward. It takes healing of the heart and the gut in order to really release past trauma so it no longer emotionally, mindset, or for some of you, mentally impacts you. We've got to let that stuff go, and people just aren't sure why. And I go, why is it that people are seeing clinical therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, and they're still struggling? Why? Some of you may go, yeah, because they've got a mental illness. What about if I offer you a different perspective, that they haven't healed the emotional trauma attached to those events that they've discussed? They've spoken about them. The therapist's worked all in here. Yeah, great. But what about the inner work, the emotional work? Okay. I feel I've taken up enough of your time, as I absolutely respect your time and I know that it's valuable. So thank you for spending it here with me today. I also hope that you gained something little from today. And please know that none of this is judgment about the medical professions, the experts. I'm purely just wanting to offer a different perspective, some food for thought, that's it. And my opinion, or my, I don't like that word actually, not my opinion, my theory. Because a lot of what is going on in the mental health space is theory. So I just wanted to add that, and I'm like, should I have said that? I've said it now. It's out of my mouth. So it is what it is. Remember, you matter. You matter. You are your most valuable asset. So please, please invest in you and do the overall healing. Release that trauma and pain. Throw it out. Unbox all your suppressed stuff. Bring it to the surface. Work through it. Heal from it. And release it. So your storage space one day can be a little less cluttered. Yeah? So if you enjoyed today's video, I would be so grateful if you would like the video, subscribe to my channel, and also click on the notifications bell so you'll be notified when I upload tomorrow's Cat's message of the day. I want to thank you for spending your time with me. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.